Sleep is for the weak, guys. Your bro is able to talk since I had a dentist appointment first thing this morning. They went in and did a deep cleaning. And so if you've ever had the deep clean where they go in and do all the BS, it's like, I mean, yeah, of course it's good. You want it, your teeth, like my teeth feel real good right now, nice and perfectly smooth and polished. But at the same time, you know, let me put something incredibly likely to piss off certain people. That way, the people who know me, they'll be like, there's James effing around. And like new people who come into the chat will be all like last night I streamed in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. Oh my God. I named the stream Trump is Your Daddy. And there were people coming out of the blue just pissed off about that. Like people from shitty countries. There was a guy from New Zealand who would not shut the fuck up about, New Zealand. And I was like, what are you even talking about? Ear trumpet. What time is it where you are? Queensland. Where I am currently, it is 4:00 p.m. You are exactly the opposite of me, I believe, my dear Aussie friend. Gatekeeping time. Where are we gatekeeping? And there's Hungar, my dearest friend, my brother, also my brother in Christ. How are you doing today? So yeah, I've noticed that when I do my live streams, if I put really crazy stuff as the title of the live stream, it literally sends some people just completely over the edge. Like they just don't even know how to live with themselves and brother. And they don't seem to understand that. To me, it's hilarious. Like when they get mad and they're like, oh, Trump's a dictator, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you live in a country with no rights. Shut up, Yeah,
I woke up and watched that 2 hour and something live stream that you did this morning at 1 a.m. and wow.
What are you wowing about?
People were just...
Most of the people that showed up for the live stream were absolutely beautiful people.
But some of the people were not.
But some of them were absolutely retarded. It's like so weird listening to a guy from New Zealand try and tell you that New Zealand could beat the United States in a war. And he kept saying it. And I finally said, I got to look this up, right? New Zealand's entire military force, including the reservists, is smaller than the National Guard of Texas. That's not even our army. That's just the National Guard of Texas.
The nasty girls.
And this guy's like, oh, New Zealand, blah, blah, blah. And it's like...
Although, I will say something based about New Zealand. There's some trannies trying to read stories to kids over there. And a bunch of dudes went and started doing the haka so loud that they couldn't hear them.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying in my videos, you need to take the LGB and cut that shit away from that TQ and let the LGBT keep doing what they're doing because they're not bothering anybody. and tell the T's to shut the fuck up, because pretty much we're all sick and tired of the whining. You know, this whole there's a trans genocide going on. Well, it must not be very effective because you motherfuckers are still here.
And they're the ones doing
like,
it to themselves.
New Zealand couldn't beat Australia in a war. See, I'll take your word for it, and I believe that you're absolutely right. I don't know. This guy was just really like a weirdo. He was just a weirdo. You know, he was.
You can be proud of me, brother. I finally figured out what the worst thing that ever came out of Germany was.
What's that?
That song, Mambo Number 5.
Yeah, technically, though, that was a military guy.
Oh, Mambo Number 5.
Mambo Number 5 was written by like a dude in the army.
Yeah, but they say it's a German
stationed
song.
in Germany.
They say it's a German song, so it's the worst thing to come out of Germany.
Why anybody would listen to Mambo Number 5 if they're in Germany when they could be listening to like Erica or something like that, I'll never know.
Or Rammstein.
Or Rammstein. I mean, but then again, I have a fondness for military marching songs, so.
Oh, we got a John Philip Sousa fan, huh?
I like national anthems. And even in that thing that happened with the Canadian airmen, they got to sing the U.S. national anthem. Kicked ass. That dude was good. Like, he was belting our anthem out, you know?
I've always been fond of Communist Russia's national anthem sung by the Red Army.
Well, the thing with that is the actual modern Russian Federation national anthem is the exact same song. They just dropped all the references to communism.
Yeah.
Hey, Ungar, I could send you a copy of the Soviet Army marching band stuff. I found one day when I was going through a thrift store. I was like, oh, perfect. I know a person that is so right-wing it isn't funny, so I sent it to him for Christmas.
Oh, trust me, I've heard it all because I used to play Russians when we played World War II games. And I would always play that for my brother right before I started unleashing the Red God of War.
That is a true story. Hungar would have his phone at the game table, and when it would be his turn to move his troops, he would start playing like the Great Patriotic War or some shit like this. And I'm sitting there with my army just like
dying.
STF, you noob. And of course, I don't think in the whole time that I played Flames of War that I ever won a single game with the German army.
No.
Now, in Memoir 44, I'm going to tell you what, we've played that Battle of Stalingrad scenario in there.
Oh, the one with the three maps?
Yeah, with a one map. It's if you get the right one, it's the one map. What a slugfest that is between the Germans and the Russians. And it is, I mean, it gets down to the nitty gritty at the very end there. I don't think we've ever had more than 3 win points between a win and a loss. So,
yeah.
All I got to say, if you're playing against Russia and they get off their artillery, chances are
depends on the game.
Flames of War.
Flames of War, yes. Because Russian artillery is not that big of a deal in bolt action. You can just, because the table's smaller, the scale's bigger, you can just charge across the table real quick if anybody even tries to field artillery.
Yeah, but in Flames of War, when it's setting out like 27,000 templates and covering the whole table.
Well, it's 2, but it's basically 2 feet wide is the artillery template you're putting on the table. So when you're playing on a 4x4 table, you just, took an eighth of the table just got bombarded by artillery. And then it's got all the ZIS 2 and Zis 3 regimental guns attached to the Red God of War, which are used as part of the barrage, but can also be used as anti-tank weapons if they need to be. So, you're just kind of hanging back behind all your conscript infantrymen, daring anybody to do anything. And I played his Red Army one time against a guy playing the Finns, and at the end of turn 1, he quit. He never even took a turn. I got to go first. And I just did what I did and bombarded him one time. His entire Finnish army was under the template because the Finns are a super elite army. So, and after he got hit by all that artillery, he's like, yep, I quit. And I was like, really? And he's like, dude, I cannot win. And I'm like,
it's not as bad as the time you were playing Warhammer Fantasy in a tournament, and the guy you were playing against was playing undead, and you took him out in one tournament, but it took him 40 minutes to set his damn army up.
It took that dude more time to put the army on the table and put the army back in his transport case than it did for me to win the game. And it was a turn 2 win because turn 1, my Bretonnian general flew high on a Pegasus. And turn 2, I landed right next to his necromancer lord and just killed him. And in old school Warhammer, like 2nd, 3rd, 4th edition, if your necromancer general died, your whole army just fell over.
Well, I deal with David. I play with David Wesley and those guys. It's sort of funny. You can see the mentality of military guys that were line officers and guys that were staff pukes. And the staff guys always sit there and they take forever. They try to do complicated mathematical equations in their head for the move that they're going to make. And it's just, and guys like myself, we sort of act more like line officers. We're just like, nah, just here's what we're going to do. We don't care what the staff pukes think. We don't care what they've got set up. This is our objective,
Yeah, I think Ungar would admit pretty readily that I am never indecisive in any game I play.
Nope.
Like, I already know what I'm going to do before my opponent finishes his turn.
Oh, yeah, I'm planning out what I'm going to do 2 turns before it's even my turn.
Now, one of the people who is dearest to me on the planet, even though they don't visit, they don't call, they don't write, they don't care if I'm sitting here alone eating matzahs in the dark.
You're talking about your wife?
Every time I've played a war game with this guy, it takes him 25 minutes to move a figure.
Oh, yeah.
Like when we were playing Blood Bowl, and it's like, okay, my guy fell down, so it means it's your turn. And he's sitting there just and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, well, I don't want to make a bad move. And it's like, you're so afraid of losing that you're not able to actually do anything. I was like, just do something.
And I plan my stuff out. I know what I'm going to do before it's my turn.
I don't.
Even in Memoir 44, I've sat there. I purposely sat out the round. I just said, okay, I'm going to let them make their move. Because I knew they were going to do something stupid. I was just like, all right, you're falling into my trap here. I've opened up this line of things, sort of like the Battle of the Bulge. And it was like, okay, walk on in, because I know what I'm going to do next turn because I've got these cards. And
like they say, never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake.
Yeah, well, it's just I knew what they were going to do, but my cards were not sufficient to do what I wanted to do until they moved up 2 spaces. And once they moved up those 2 spaces, it was like, okay, here we go.
Well, you see when I play Battletech, I never take time.
Yeah, me neither.
Because I know what I'm going to do.
Ungar and I can play a game of classic Battletech, lance on lance combat, and have that shit done in an hour or less. Because it's just like boom, 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 boom.
Like you all the damn headshots, bastard.
Well, I am good at rolling headshots and crit chest hits.
He took out my heavy mech on turn 1.
It was a Marauder. Yeah, turn one. It was dead. But you moved it up on the hilltop and put it in line of sight of every mech I had.
So you only used one mech to kill it.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it was a bad move on your part.
Who cares?
And I showed you that the Orion is a better 75-ton mech than the Marauder. It might look goofy, but don't let the goofy looks fool you. That thing's got LRM 20 and an AC 10 and some large laser and medium lasers and
just
pretty much it's got what you need.
It's got what mechs need.
Yeah, it's full of electrolytes.
It's like leaving a gap in your lines, and sure, it's an invitation, but you always think about the trap. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, no, something's not right here. There was a module that I played in once, a tournament module. They left the front door wide open, no guards, no nothing. And I looked at everybody at the table and I said, "You're out of your freaking mind. I am not going in that way." There's just no way they're going to leave a temple with nobody at the front door.
Well, in my favorite module, they actually invite you in one dungeon. The Bugbear dungeon in B2 has a sign out front that says, "Welcome, adventurers. Come in. We'd love to have you for dinner."
I want to talk about the craziness that was going on Double D last night.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. That guy.
Hilarious. It disgusted me so much I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I mean, it was hilarious in the disgusting fashion. You know what I'm saying? It's just sort of like I'm sitting there laughing because I'm like, who does this guy think he is? What is it? What the hell is he doing?
The guy was like that, I think, because he can't get laid in real life, so he has to roleplay that shit.
You know for a fact, if his wife is going out for like girls' nights out all the time, all they do is hang out and talk about XXX books and shit, she is fucking around on him.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
Like big time, Like when she comes in and gives him the list of sexual fantasies and he doesn't even understand half the shit on it. It's like, bro. But he's probably her safe space, you know what I mean? Like, she's out getting railed out by Tyrone and Chad and everybody else. And then
is currently more faithful to Condor than his wife is to her.
Right. And then she comes home to the guy that's raising her boyfriend's children.
What's up, Denzel Riley? Mega power. That's right.
Speaking of, yeah, my wife, who watches news because I don't, said that I guess one of the political leaders of the Reform Party in England came out today and said that J.D. Vance was right in that speech that made all the Europeans cry. One of the English guys come out and said, "No, he was right. He's right. We need to stop."
Well, Andrew Tate is running for office in England, right?
Yeah, Andrew Tate.
The Brown Party? Yeah, Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I don't care for Andrew Tate and his freaking muzzy ass.
It's hilarious. Well, he went to church the other day, like a Christian church.
Well. But anyway, on to whatever. Yeah, she was like.
Cash got confirmed as the FBI, head of the FBI.
Who did?
Cash Patel got.
It was only a matter of time. They could only drag it out so long.
Oh, I know. I saw it and I was just like, tomorrow the FBI is going to be going through some permutations. By Monday morning, that place is going to be. There's going to be.
He already said he's going to fire most of them.
And what I like is everybody thinking about Elon. Well, Elon wasn't elected. Well, no shit. He wasn't running for office. He was hired to do a job.
You know who else wasn't elected? Like 90% of the people in the government.
I know. More than that, I'd say 97% or more.
It's like the United States has been living under this weird bureaucratic oligarchy. And it's like, and I was talking about the other day, the average ordinary Democrat that's out on the street raising hell about Elon doing what he's doing is such a useful idiot, because it's that old thing. Unless you are corrupt, why would you care if somebody's auditing the books? Right? Like nothing Elon's doing is going to affect your common working man.
Well,
Except, cut away a lot of waste. These Democrat senators and congressmen, they're worried right now.
The only people I feel sorry for is the 175-year-old people whose Social Security's getting cut.
I like the fact that there's 300-year-old guys at Social Security. I mean, it's like, so basically George Washington is still receiving Social Security.
Yeah.
That's nice. They found
part of that. Now, let's back up, guys. Part of the Social Security problem is lazy workers not entering code that they're supposed to be entering. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you're supposed to enter that code so that the computer knows when to do a check on that stuff. And when they don't, or it's mistyped in information and stuff like that. There's going to be a certain degree of that kind of stuff, but there shouldn't be. Why isn't there double checks, triple checks with that many people, 350 years old, on the Social Security system? What the hell? You know what I mean? Are we paying aliens? Do we got somebody from the Elven Kingdom living in our country that we're paying him Social Security or something?
No, it's actually vampires.
You got people who work for the Social Security Department who are collecting money from Social Security, who shouldn't be collecting money from Social Security because they have access to Social Security payments.
Yeah. I thought that was nice. It's like, I work for Social Security, but I'm going to go ahead and give myself Social Security. Hey, Jose, good response on the religion thing we were talking about. I guess you're right, since a lot of people play role-playing games for escapism, maybe playing in, even though it's fantasy, but maybe for some people playing in 10th century Poland with the church accurately represented and the different Slavic pagan religions and stuff is not escapism enough, because it's still kind of the real world. Anyway, the point is that was a good post.
I still want to run. I still want to run a horror game in Appalachia, like a Cthulhu game in Appalachia.
Oh, Jose, don't even worry about it. Everybody thinks they know how to play the game a different way. It's not a big deal. So don't worry about it, Jose.
No, that's actually good. I
came up with a rule today, and I'm looking at implementing it in my game about spellcasters and how if the enemy is intelligent, and depending on their intelligence, the greater likelihood they would purposely target the spellcasters first beyond anybody else if it's in non-hand-to-hand combat.
I hate to bust your bubble on something, bro.
Yeah,
that's something Gary Gygax wrote at length about. So you have arrived at the same place Gary Gygax arrived at in 79.
And
because he wrote that any monster that's intelligent and understands what a magic user is should target that magic user.
Yeah, but I'm talking more. How do I want to say this? I'm talking more of the when I'm sitting back and doing sneak attacks and stuff like that. How they're going to do ranged weapons on a sneak attack and stuff like that. So not so much as goblins attacking a group of characters. More like
Because I've done straight up a bunch of goblins jump a party of characters. The first time somebody casts a heal spell or any other kind of magical spell, every goblin archer is on that guy's ass.
And I'm going to say, Jose, don't apologize to Vic because I've got an axe to grind with that bastard.
You got axe to grind with everybody.
Yeah, well, you're the biggest one he's got an axe to grind with, James.
Yeah, well, I live by the rule of
the DM giveth and the DM taketh away.
If the DM says no, then it's no.
That's why I bought you that shirt.
If you trust me, it's not a problem. If you're a player at my table and you trust me to not cheat you, then it's not a problem. You understand?
That's why I bought you that shirt that said, "I'm the DM." That makes all you my bitches.
You did, yeah. And he's not lying. That's what the shirt absolutely said. It said, "I am the dungeon master, and you are all my bitches."
Yeah,
because it's like, first off, there's got to be trust, but secondly, you can't have players arguing with the DM about shit. No. I mean, yes, you rolled up in your case, you rolled up the axe, but I determined that you having that axe would completely destroy
it was a game killing axe. It was a game killing weapon.
No, it wasn't a killing. It was game altering, meaning it was going way outside the bounds of what you wanted.
Well, game ending.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. It wasn't actually the fact that he got the axe of the Dwarven Lords. You know how it has like the 1 powers and 2 powers and 3 powers? It was the powers.
Yeah.
This thing was like,
Did you roll the powers before you took it away? Did you roll the powers before you took it away?
Yeah, yeah, of course I did. I wanted to, if it hadn't been like basically handing somebody a nuclear weapon with the launch keys, I might have been like, well, okay, he's got an artifact, whatever. But no, when you've got an artifact that can allow you to basically be immune to everything and, kill certain creatures automatically with a hit, and I mean, we're talking like godlike levels of power.
It was too strong. And I know it was too strong. I just wanted my greedy little hands on it.
Of course you did. Who wouldn't?
But see, you know what you could have done?
That was badass.
But what you could have done, though, James, is also had the a god come down and swipe it from him.
Moradin. But then that would have been a weird thing since I think he was playing a priest of Moradin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So Moradin would have came down, taken the weapon, and given him something else,
Yeah, no. I just said re-roll. I was like, and he was disappointed, but he understood. This is a weapon that will destroy the campaign. One of the reasons that, like in 3rd edition, I always cap the levels of the players at 10. Because 3rd edition D&D, if you let the players get much above level 10, you might as well not even worry about it. Because by the time they start stacking all those feats and everything, you're not even playing a game anymore. You're just it just becomes such a power fantasy that it's not even fun to run the game. Hungar, check this out.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's not painted yet. I've just done the highlight on it. But yeah, that's a werewolf. It can, for the low price of, I think, 85 ducats, be part of a Heretic Legion warband.
Yeah, it's still terrifying.
Yeah, it's like basically, you know how the rule in the game is that demons are not allowed to enter onto the world?
Yeah.
They are allowed to send mortal minions out to kidnap things and then reproduce with them. And then the Cambion half-demon thing can be sent into the world. So this is what happens when demonic entities reproduce with a wolf.
Welcome back, Jose.
And then they put a bunch of armor plating, and the helmet if you look really close, there's like a buzzsaw in there.
Yeah.
It's designed so that the werewolf can run across the battlefield and gather up all the barbed wire between that snout and the saws on the inside cut all the barbed wire, so that the werewolf is actually like it's like the first unit that runs through no man's land, because it runs through cutting all the barbed wire so that all the other forces can follow through the gap, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing is I found an alternate sculpt for the chorister, which are the guys that cut their own heads off.
Oh, yeah, those freaking weirdos. Oh, God.
So this one, he's actually holding his head up while it's singing with the blood, you know, connecting the two parts. Plus, he's got like nails, spikes driven all through him. Like his arms and legs are, you know. So, because some humans that live in the Inferno, Jerusalem, they realize that they're not cut out to be heretic legionnaires, but they still know of a way to hurt God, and that is to take their own life by ritual, you know, deletion. And if you impress the powers that be in the Inferno, they bring you back. And then you finish the job of removing your headpiece, and you walk around the battlefield singing hymns that you learned in the Inferno. And for people who are not, you know, affiliated with the hell, the songs of the choristers drive them crazy.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're just like an average soldier on the trench lines and you hear them, it can make you insane.
Well, you would think that.
Unless you are a trench pilgrim and you're wearing the iron capriote, which makes you immune to fear and shit like that. You're just like, whatever.
Okay, so you think that having a Polish church is not enough escapism?
I don't know what you just said, Jose, and I'm normally good with your accent.
That you feel that having a church from Poland is not enough escapism?
No, I said I agreed with you.
Oh, I see.
Did you misunderstand?
Probably. That's because I was thinking about a call that I had to make. So I'm sorry about that.
No, I was saying thank you. I get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because what you said was that a lot of people play role-playing games because they want to escape the real world. So if I'm playing a game set in the real world, even if there are vampires and monsters, maybe some people just don't feel like that's escapism enough. Especially because in this game, you can't play like a dwarf or an elf. You can only play a human. And, you know, so I was like, okay, that makes sense. If you're the kind of person that really wants to play a gnome thief or some shit like that, then, you know, being forced to play a Polish farmer is probably not necessarily going to be your first choice. And that's why I said thank you for your point of view.
Okay, you're welcome.
You misunderstood. That's
yeah,
okay.
Don't worry. It was because of that. It was with many things in my mind, and you said it so quickly, so I'm sorry about that. Okay.
Well, when I can talk fast when I get going.
Well, brother, I'm going to bounce out of here and go get ready for dinner.
Already? Oh, wait. Yeah, you eat at 5 every day, don't you?
I eat at 5. Yeah, that's...
Well, it's good to have a schedule.
Yep.
Okay, so
that's how you being a housewife, isn't it, Hungar?
Yeah. Bon appetit, Hungar.
I am seriously considering buying a new Dell, which like 2 years ago was probably state of the art, but now is like cheap, just so that I can download and play Stalker 2, because the computer I currently have doesn't have enough storage to actually download the game.
Stalker 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Like, even if I deleted every single thing on this computer, the SSD still would not have enough storage to play Stalker. But this new computer, which has a better graphics card, a better everything, and it has like a terabyte of storage, means that I could download both Stalker 2 and one of my favorite games of all time, I could download Ark. And then hopefully capture a giant eagle bird again. What were they called? Hungar, do you remember?
No.
But you know what I'm talking about, the giant vulture eagle looking birds.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I love those things. Oh, Argentatavis. And just fly around with my Argenties. But I'll catch you later, homie.
All right, love you.
All right, see you, Hungar.
Later, guys. Be good.
See ya, Hungar. Bon appetit.
Hungar.
Here's Leth. You know, he was in the last night on Double D. He was.
Oh God, that video.
Yeah, that's what we all said.
So the problem is hard disk.
I was making fun of it pretty hard there for a while.
Oh, I was lurking. I was just like, I was listening in the background, but yeah, that was just hard to listen to.
Yeah. Well, I made a joke about the guy. I said that the single chair in a hotel room is named after him.
You know how Double D was talking about him having like a couple blow-up dolls? Yeah, his wife is just a hooker that he paid.
Oh, I posted up that he has the Agent Sex doll, and I posted up the eBay link for it.
Well, I don't know if his wife is a hooker that he paid, but I have a feeling she is indeed a hooker.
It's either that or else she's a slut and a half. You know, I mean,
yeah.
She's got her Tinder account, and she doesn't care. You know.
Yeah. And she's definitely hanging out with like not a good crowd of female friends either.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, hey guys, let's all get together and talk about like degenerate sex acts. It's like, no. Like, if my wife had a friend that was trying to talk her into that kind of shit, that friend would be gone so quick. Oh, yeah. Soundtrack for Ark. Yep.
Yeah, it's a cool soundtrack.
I love the game Ark, Jose, but in order for me to play it, I either have to use a external drive, and the problem with that is if you bump it at all, you get a disconnection, and then it's like, well, you know.
Yeah, they made that game a little too big.
And then the other issue is that my computer, again, does not have enough storage space.
I mean, how much storage does that thing take anymore anyway? It's like, it was probably in like the 300 mark now, isn't it?
Yeah, and my computer has like 300 gigs of storage.
Yeah, the thing is, you got to get yourself a terabyte or two of external storage and dump all your photos on it and all your albums and everything else you got loaded on there. And that's why I don't play online games anymore. It's just like, I got too much shit in my life going on. I got better things to do than to sit there and waste hours and hours and hours of playing a video game.
This is why Palworld is better, because it doesn't take up your entire disk drive.
Well, lucky for you, I don't. And when it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I go lay in bed, decide to, lay around in my underwear, I don't mind playing a little Ark, fighting some dinosaurs, doing some stuff, I think it's fun. And but and of course Stalker 2. I mean, I was a huge fan of Stalker 1, but that game came out 15 years ago. But we'll see if Stalker 2 is good. I mean, it's like I've told you before, it's based on the novel Roadside Picnic. So basically, as a stalker, you're breaking into the zone to try and scavenge around and shit. But there's anomalies and bandits and mutant monsters and zombies, you know, like radioactive zombies. And, you know, it's pretty much horrible. And you're trying to survive by scavenging. And
post-apocalyptic world sort of thing.
Yeah, well, what happened in Stalker is one day everything was normal, and then there was like a lot of meteorites that hit the Earth, and they hit completely around the Earth at different locations, but all on the 48th parallel.
Yeah.
And wherever the meteorites hit, it created like this giant zone where physics just don't matter anymore. Like reality just... You know what? They kind of made a movie that's similar to Stalker, the one where the girls go in and it's like the shimmer. And once they go into the shimmer, like everything's fucking weird.
Oh.
You know the one I'm talking about?
I know the movie you're talking about.
Well, okay. They obviously, whoever wrote that movie has watched or played The Zone or Stalker. The difference being there were no bandits in there waiting to, you know, kill you and steal all your shit. And, you know, whatever. But, yeah, Stalker, there's a big exclusion zone. The government does not want you to go in there. So a lot of times you got to actually sneak past government patrols to get in.
Mm-hmm.
Chronicles of the Black Company. Okay.
That's what I'm reading right now. I think you'd find that one interesting. By Glenn Cook.
Is that like sci-fi or?
No, it's more Dungeons and Dragons like, but except for there is no monsters really.
Right. So Game of Thrones-ish.
No dragons, but
politics and different houses and kingdoms.
Yeah, different magic users and, you know.
Right. I have been not reading but listening to, because I have Audible, The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath by H.P. Lovecraft.
I have not gotten into any Lovecrafting stuff or whatever you want to call it. I got so much other stuff I read, like the latest Tom Clancy novel. What was the name of it? Hold on, I'll give you the name.
Clear and Present Red Dawn.
No.
Or Clear and Present Red October.
No, I'm looking through my stuff here.
Even though I was making fun of the movie for whichever one it was so hard, because in the book, the people who were trying to nuke the president at the sports arena were basically like ISIS.
Yeah.
But then when they made the movie, they were like Nazis.
Huh.
And it was like, gee, I wonder why they made that change. You know,
whenever you said Red Dawn, I was thinking of that like old movie Wolverines.
Oh, the old one was good. The new one was an absolute joke.
Oh, I know. The other one's
it's called Tom Clancy Act of Defiance. It's I consider it a sequel to The Hunt for Red October. I really enjoyed it. So
The Hunt for Red October was good too. I need to rewatch it. I don't think I've seen it since I was like pretty young.
Great soundtrack.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like for Hunt for Red October was who is the guy that played Jack Ryan? Wasn't it like Alex Baldwin or something?
It was like Baldwin, that? I think. There's like 50 of them. So.
I wish it was Harrison Ford, like the first one he did, like Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah, they were like
better.
there's like 50 Baldwins. There's like the good Baldwin, and then the fat one, and then the idiot one, and
yeah.
like the good Baldwin is the one that was in The Usual Suspects. He kind of made his money and just kind of vanished.
Well, sometimes people learn to vanish when they need to. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I made my money. I think it's time I get out of this craziness. You know, I think the more
I've had enough of that. Let's just go.
Yeah.
He's the young Baldwin and also the most conservative of the Baldwins.
Right.
Like,
well, he probably got ostracized out of Hollywood by the flaming elite. You know what I mean? So
right. But he played McGinnis in The Usual Suspects, so he was like the assassin that worked with Del Toro's character.
Yeah.
Like, and the cops were like, so tell us about McGinnis. And Del Toro's like, he'll flip you. He'll flip you for real. You know, it's like, what? And they're like, okay, step up to the mic and say, give me the money. And he's like, give me the money, you goddamn motherfucker. Like, step back. Yeah, that's a good movie.
I watched last night Saints and Sinners, In the Land of Saints and Sinners with Liam Neeson, which I thought was pretty good. It didn't get into the fantastical, what do you want to call it? The driving movie. What's the driving movies that everybody's into?
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious type explosions.
Oh, okay.
Shit like that.
He said racing movie, so I was thinking of Fast and Furious.
I thought he said dragon, so I was like,
no, Fast. It was a good movie. Liam Neeson, and he's an assassin, an independent assassin in Ireland in the 1970s. It was entertaining. It wasn't too, like I said, too fantastical. You know what I mean? It's like it was within the realms of possibility. Let's put it that way.
I saw a movie like that a while back, but it was totally different. It was called The Crying Game. But it was in Ireland, like in the 80s, I guess, or 70s.
Wasn't Liam Neeson in that movie about like people kidnapping his family and him?
Yeah, Taken. That was the Taken.
That was it. Yeah.
His family's been taken like 8 times.
Yes, I know. It just keeps happening.
It's like at a point, just tell them not to leave the house.
Yeah.
Buy some private security.
When are you going to move somewhere that they don't even want to go to come get you?
Do not let your teenage daughter go to France alone. That's probably a bad idea. You know, don't get super upset when a bunch of Muslim Albanians kidnap her and, you know, force her into the sex trade, because that is kind of what those Albanians do. One of the reasons the Serbians hate them so much. But because of the drugs and the sex trafficking. But
that's what Trump should do. Remember, the Italians couldn't send their not prisoners, their immigrants to Albania to store them there in that prison. Maybe Trump should buy those with the US, or rent them with the U.S. tax dollar, and just fly plane loads of Europeans that have illegally immigrated over there. Just, here you go.
Well, if the reform guy that was talking,
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, if there's a prison available,
I'll about deporting all of them.
I'm just saying, if there's a place outside the United States that we could send them and not, you know what I mean? And then if a judge orders them released, well, okay, we'll open the door in Albania and you're released.
Well, Albania, though, luckily for us, I guess, the Albanians have always kind of liked America. Even when or if, I don't know if they still are commies. But the main reason they've always kind of liked America is because the Serbians were curb stomping the shit out of them, and we started bombing the Serbs. Now, was that the right thing to do? Absolutely not. We should have helped the Serbs finish off the Albanians.
I think I'd be on the side of the Serbs with how much the Albanians.
Yeah. Why are we always trying to bomb Orthodox Christians? You know,
I want to know why we're even bombing them at all. Let them fight their own damn war.
True.
Yeah, but
why are we supporting the side that has like sex trafficking and drugs?
And
hey, that plays it. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to say the words I was going to say.
The Mujahideen, and they started the war, and then started crying.
Maybe Epstein had something to do with it.
Because the Albanians actually started the war, and then when the Serbians turned out to be better at fighting wars, the Albanians started crying war crimes, even though they had committed the war crimes first. You know what I mean? But it just turned out that Serbians were better at it. Because, you know.
Talking about politics, I have some news from Costa Rica.
Do
you remember that Marco Rubio visited Costa Rica a few days ago?
No, he's been visiting a lot of countries. I didn't.
Yeah. Well, he visited Costa Rica, and it looks like some woke Congress people now do not have visa for USA.
Well, there you go.
Oh, that's the news.
It's like that one girl reporter was mad because they were telling her that they may take her credentials so that she's not allowed to go in and question the president. And she's like, I should be able to do that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. You know, getting journalist credentials so that you can talk to the president, that is a privilege. That is not an entitlement.
I like how they're like, oh, that's censorship. And then the vice president's like, no, it's not. You know what censorship is? That's what Europe's doing right now. You know, jailing people for saying things.
Yeah. So CNN is about like 5 inches away from just getting banned from talking to the president at all.
Yeah.
Which is funny too, because they were talking to JD Vance on something and they asked him some question. I forget what it was. And he's like, yep, we've signed more executive orders. I think CNN has viewers at this point. And it was just like, damn, national TV calling them out, letting them know. My favorite part about JD Vance is when he says something really effed up and he kind of stops and gives you that sideways look and that little grin, you know, like, oh yeah, king of the trolls, man. Well, not the king. Trump is the king of the trolls. And like I said, last night I was trying to explain to people because, again, it's like these people are dumb. It's like they talk all this shit. I can't believe that Trump talks the way he does, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm all like, you guys do know he grew up in Queens, right? It's like the New York mayor. New Yorkers never stop fighting. And it's like, well, I got some bad news for you, bitch. Trump's from New York, born and raised. So, yeah, good luck. Good luck. Yeah.
Here in Costa Rica, our current president is the biggest troll against journalists who come with stupid ideas.
I'd be too. I don't care. You know what?
Yeah,
if I was president of the United States, the first thing I would do, I'd walk into the White House and I'd say, I'd assemble the press corps and I'd look at them and say, you got 48 hours. And they go, what do you mean? You got 48 hours to get the F out. Every one of your leases has now been canceled. Every one of you is going bye-bye. And they can come over in the rain, sleet, and snow when there's a thing, and they can come to the White House for their daily briefing, or we can have it across the street at the Reagan office building and be done with it. Because I don't care. The White House press corps has been the biggest leaker of secrets that I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean?
Well, them and the FBI and Schiff.
Yeah.
But
and yet they claim about Trump having
yesterday
these secrets.
But I mean, as a security standpoint, as a security standpoint, I would not want journalists inside the White House. So
Yep, you're not wrong, not your echo. It's like everyone's saying, you've got Elon Musk, and he's doing his thing, and he's finding tons and tons and tons of abuse, and people are complaining. And it's like, why are you complaining? You know, this is stuff that will not. And then I love no one elected him. Well, no one elected 99% of the government. Or he has your personal information. And it's there like, he owns PayPal, right?
There was a video earlier today explaining this goddamn nonsense about Trump. Let me find it now. And it was simple. It was really simple how they went back and they explained it to these press corps at the it was a White House briefing, and they explained it to the press corps why the president could do it and under what section of law that he could appoint Elon Musk. And they keep saying, well, he doesn't have a security clearance. Bull fucking shit, he doesn't have a security clearance. You know what I mean?
He gives out security clearances. The executive branch.
He's got a security clearance through NASA. That's top, one of the top.
Oh yeah, the second he got like a government contract to save our astronauts,
right?
He had a security clearance. Like,
I mean, even I have a security clearance, for God dang sake, and I haven't been to a facility in. I don't know how long I haven't been to a facility in, but I got a clearance.
I had a security clearance for a little while.
I know. I don't know if it's expired or what else, but I mean, if they ran it again, they'd find the same things. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, here you go.
Yep. When I was in Honduras, I was attached to this unit called First U.S. Special Intelligence Group, and everybody had to have security clearance. I think it was like a CIA front. All we did was patrol from Honduras into like Nicaragua or some shit. Well, and it was on a shared base with like the Air Force. It is a weird station. And it was like what they call hardships. So like you weren't ever allowed to take leave, and no one was allowed to visit. And you couldn't bring your wife, and like, yeah.
I can't find the damn video that I watched, and it explained it all in pretty much detail on how what it was.
Now that I think about it, man, I should have worked harder, with that assignment, because that could have been my stepping stone into a nice, cushy CIA job. I could have been like the real life Martin Blank. They did a test. They found out I had a certain moral flexibility. So then I become an assassin, and then I went into business for myself, and that's where I've been. Point blank.
Anyways, it was underneath a section of law that made perfect sense, that he gets to appoint who he wants. You know what I mean?
If you're thinking of the one I'm thinking of, that law was put into place by Obama.
Oh no, this one was another one that was, they were quoting from something from 19 whatever, but he gets to appoint whoever he wants, and except for those positions for like, labor secretary, blah blah blah, which is through the Senate,
which have to be
yeah. But this is like, no, he gets just to appoint people to certain positions. It's just like, no, you people don't understand. And it drives me insane when I hear the screaming and yelling that they can't do that, and they don't read the law. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Godless people worship the government. Agreed. And most of your common people out rioting or protesting or whatever, they're just as Marx said, they're useful idiots. They don't even understand what they're writing about. But the Democrats that are riling people up, they know what's up, and they know that when they follow the money far enough back, it's going to end up at Schiff or Schumer.
Well, they just said that the lady in Georgia that was after Trump, is part of some whatchamacallit, something to do with the EPA or something like that. She got $20-something million or something like that in grants from the EPA through some charitable thing. I don't remember what it was. I was like, what the bloody hell? And 3 months before, those charities had only done $100 worth of work. And they got some $20 billion.
Well, charities are the worst because rich people use charities as a cover for slush funds.
Yep.
It's like, donate to my charity. It's going to be awesome. And then people donate, but everybody knows the charity is not actually going to do anything.
Well, there's no fiscal control of that money once it leaves the United States. There's zero fiscal control. I mean, look at all the money that went to Ukraine. It went to Ukraine. Where did it go from there?
Even Zelensky don't know where most of the money we supposedly sent to Ukraine went.
I mean, look, U.S. aid was a slush fund. I mean, they said all those billions went to Haiti and only 2% went. The rest of it the Clintons got, supposedly.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what did they buy with that money? Where did they stick that money? You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about this. Like, our politicians will get out of office and then all of a sudden they're doing speaking arrangements for different corporations and they're getting paid like $1 million a whack. I mean, it's just a clever way of basically bribing the politicians, because just like if you're Clinton, say, right, just because you're no longer president does not mean you no longer have power.
Right.
You still got a lot of power. And so, somebody paying you a bunch of money, that can be the difference between you getting information on some insider trading bullshit and not.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so.
Don't tell me Hillary Clinton isn't going to get insider information, or Bill Clinton's not going to get insider information from now until their death. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get a little phone call. Hey, Bill, you might want to put $10,000 into this account, to buy this stock tomorrow. We're going to make a run on it.
Right. I like what's her name, Boebert, who says that it should be against the law for government employees to invest. I agree with that. It should be. These people, I mean, you got Ocasio-Cortez gets into, she leaves her job at the freaking bar, becomes a congressman, and now she's got a net worth of like $17 million.
I don't know. I don't know the personal financials of that stuff. I know certain people like Hillary and Nancy Pelosi and them have net worths that go up there. And then I see a couple Congress people from Minnesota. I'm like, hold it. They were living in Section 8 housing when they were in the Minnesota state legislature. And now they're worth what? It's just like, how did she get that much money?
So the people who are constantly saying how much they hate the rich, you would think that they would want to find out.
Right.
But, Zelensky is a puppet. Yeah. Well, not your echo. As I've said a billion times, and I'm sure you heard and maybe even agree with, Zelensky was put into power against the will of the Ukrainian people by the United States CIA. The whole Maidan coup was a CIA thing. Hey, guess who financed it? USA.
Oh, I believe it.
I know, it's a fact. Right?
U.S. aid was a front for the CIA forever. And
because the thing is, the guy who actually won the election was very, very friendly with Russia, right? So they financed the Maidan coup. They drummed up a bunch of people to be mad and say they wanted to be part of the UN, even though we've promised the Russians since the 70s that we would not move the UN or NATO further east. And then all of a sudden, they had a special election, and a 30-year-old Jewish actor won the presidency in a country that is 99% Orthodox Christian. Yeah, you tell me how that works. Am I saying Orthodox Christians would never vote for a Jewish person? Probably not. Probably not. If you're actually faithfully a believer in Orthodoxy, you are not going to cast your vote for somebody that actively rejects the Messiah. You're not going to do it. So, yeah, the whole thing was bullshit because it's a no-lose situation for the evil people involved. It's like every one of our Orthodox brothers that dies, whether they're Russian or Ukrainian, is good news for the people who orchestrated the thing. You know, what they have created in Ukraine is basically a genocide of Orthodox Christians. But because you got Zelensky constantly begging for money and, oh, we have to defeat the Russians, people are too stupid to realize what's happening. You know? And now millions of young Slavic men of Orthodox religion have died in the bloodiest trench warfare since World War I. And the powers that be that made all of this happen, they're laughing in front of their altars to Moloch because they're scumbags. And they all deserve what they will get when the final trumpet blows.
There's Doc. He was in that chat last night about.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had already went to bed by the time I started live streaming. I did a live stream last night from like after midnight to like 4 a.m. And all I did is talk about like how much I hated that person's video and what a cuck he was and how listening to it made me feel bad. And there was a guy watching. I don't remember his name, started with a K. I don't know where he was from, but I was talking about. And he's like, where? And I said, type in Diversity and Dragon and watch his latest live stream. And this dude did. And then he come back on the channel after a minute and he's like, what have you done to me? I was like, hey, if I had to see it, everyone should see it. That is like, you know, just the worst that anyone can imagine. You know, the whole. So my wife and all of her friends wants me to run a X-rated D&D game and get really explicit with the sex acts and stuff. You know, me, I told my wife, I said, if you had a bunch of friends like that and you come up to me and you ask me that, I would be packing my shit. You know what I mean? I would be gone. And she's like, well, you know, I never would do that. And I said, I know that. But, you know, because I even had to tell her about it. I was like, this really upset me. I don't know why, but I was just like, what the is wrong with this guy? How can he be such a cuck? It's like, this is what happens when people turn their back on God. They become that guy. But how you doing, Doc? The link is in the chat. I mean, if you want to jump in, but we're just bullshit.
I don't know. I think there's more mentally disturbing stuff with that whole video that the guy did than anything else. It was just like what the
list.
I know.
The list that the women gave him, I didn't even know what 90% of that was. Like, I used to work long hair. I know what edging is. You take the edger and you go along the sidewalk, right?
That's when you take a Dremel tool or a rotor or a rotor and go around the edge, you know.
It's like, it's like, and the one girl, her fantasy is orc breeding videos or something like that, getting bred by big masculine orc. And it's like, they make porn like that, except it's not an orc. So now who is conflating orcs with, melanated people? Not us. It's them. I'm sure her dad's really proud of her. But, yep, that's what happens. I mean, the whole vibe was Dad was not in the home at all for any of these women. They're probably all feminists.
I woke up at night and basically saw the thumbnail of the video. I could not watch it, and basically went to sleep. And I thought, okay, that must have upset James a lot to have a video at this time.
I was
okay. Let's put it this way: there's more information in it than you really wanted to know.
You were upset.
There's way more info in there than anyone wants to know about anything.
I'm sure Bear knows all of it, though.
Yep.
What the fuck are you talking about now?
I don't know. Bear might not even know all that.
Gigantic Midwest reprobate. What do you want?
We're talking about Double D's live stream last night.
Yeah.
I don't watch Double D's channel, so what happened?
Well, first off, you should correct that.
Second, I don't enjoy his content, so I will not.
Secondly, he had a guy online whose, I guess, wife and all of his wife's friends requested he run a X-rated explicit D&D game for them.
And
he was explaining it, and it was disgusting and horrible.
Why would they do?
Let's just say it was the most depraved shit ever.
Wow.
Like even like French people in Montreal would have been like Sacre Bleu.
Wow, if you get to say Sacre Bleu, you've really done something, since they would have just said Munis Calice.
Yeah, it was something. What's up, Paladin? James, did you hear Keir Starmer? Yeah, Keir Starmer, though, when he went to Europe to talk all that shit, Poland and everyone else told him to shut the fuck up.
Yep.
They're like, are you crazy? Like, really? You're going to send your English troops over there to try and do something in the trenches, with these Slavic freaking guys over here. It's like, and the British people are like, we are not dying for this. That's just not what we're doing. Sorry, guy. But Keir Starmer, I don't know what his problem is.
He's an apologist.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a World Economic Forum stooge.
He's just like,
I see some of the posts and things that he's done over in England. And I'm just like, you promise this stuff and you go the very opposite way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, what the hell is your problem?
He's politician.
Yeah, talks in both ends of his mouth.
Yeah, he tells the voters, if you elect me, I'm going to do all this shit that you want me to do. And then the second he gets in, he's like, nah, fuck you guys. I mean, honestly, he doesn't have the monopoly on that sort of shit. So, politicians, man. It's like, I don't know.
If politics was not a tragedy, it would be a comedy.
Yeah, well, the Greeks oftentimes would call something a comedy when it was, in fact, a tragedy.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
Tragedy can be funny.
Yeah.
Totally depends who it happens to.
Look at right to my immediate side. Look at Dog Flamingo, comedy and tragedy, hand in hand.
Ah! Get some tape on my screen here.
Shut up, you fucking.
It's not your face. It's the shine from the top of your head there.
Yeah, your fucking mouth. It's like the void of stupidity spewing forth upon me. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I'm
just giving you the needle bear.
Nice when someone does it to you, isn't it? Hey, big dick, you big bitch. I didn't like that. Anyway. So what happened? So they were talking about sex in D&D, or they were like shitting on each other. Like what the fuck happened, James?
There may have been some Shiza stuff in there. I mean, it was weird stuff. It was weird.
I like on the one hand you tell me I need to watch Double D's channel, and then tell me about this disgusting thing that happened on Double D's channel. It's like you expected, man.
It's like I'm the roommate that walks up with the quart of milk and says, "Smell this."
Oh Jesus, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're like, "Ugh," and I was like, "Yeah, it does smell pretty bad." I had a roommate that was always like doing stuff like that. Yeah, but anywho,
that was Hungar, right?
No, it was my Puerto Rican buddy, who I still hang out with all the time.
Hungar strikes me as the guy who would have taken it, not sniffed it, but tasted it and gone, "No, it's all right." Handed it back.
Yeah, Hungar would get drunk off of it.
Alien Nation, good call.
Yeah, reference. I loved that movie, and I loved the series too.
Never saw the series.
The series was pretty good, but it ended kind of weird. But I mean, who did it have? It had the Jewish cowboy. What's his name? Khan. He was the cop, and then it had Inigo Montoya playing the alien
in the movie.
I'm pretty sure it was the guy that played Inigo Montoya was the alien in either the movie or the series.
Mandy Patinkin, yeah.
Mandy Patinkin in the movie. Yeah. But in the TV show, I don't even know who the TV show was.
Yeah, I never saw it. I heard there was one.
But the TV show, though, had the guy from the Star was, what's his name? Gary Graham, who played one of the Vulcans on Enterprise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
the ambassador, the older Vulcan guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's good. I've seen him in some other stuff.
Very good actor. He's dead now, I think.
Oh, is he? Oh, that's sad. He was really good.
Let me double check.
Now I already told you what I watched the other night, and for some reason on the probably 50th rewatch, I actually realized how horrible the setting was, and that is Screamers.
Yeah, you were saying.
And by horrible, I mean good. I mean that in the best possible way.
Screamers, was that the one that was sci-fi? They were like crashed somewhere, and there are these.
Yeah, it's Peter Weller.
They were having a war on this world over some kind of material that, one tablespoon could like power everything forever thing. And then they started nuking each other. And then one side created what they called the automated sword system, which was like a robot that if you didn't have a special armband on, it would zero in on your heart rate and just freaking cut you in half, right? And they lived underground. But the problem is that over the war, the robots started altering themselves. Like the people who originally had brought them in weren't altering them. They were doing their own shit, upgrades and shit, right? And it was getting like really weird. And it was horrible because it was like one of the first upgrades, the Mark IIs, was like the Screamer looked like a soldier that was wounded. and he'd be laying on a battlefield somewhere being like, help me. And when you walked up to him, he'd kill you. And then the third one was called David, and he looked like a little kid with a teddy bear.
Creepy.
And if he saw you, he'd be like, hey, can I go with you? And if you let him, he'd wait till you fell asleep and then kill you. You know, plus he tagged you. That was the David's thing, is he would join you, and he was communicating with other screamers, letting them know where you were. You see what I mean? So it was just like one of these ideas where somebody come up with some tech that they shouldn't have and have lost control of it, and everyone died. Except for the screamers, who I guess that planet now belongs to. Because all humans are dead.
Yeah, Shadow said Dark Matter was a very cool show. It ended way too abruptly. Although they were starting to get into the goofy time travel shit.
I don't like time travel.
Paladin, the character he put on Enterprise is called Sobal.
Yeah, that was the thing. The screamers, not only were they self-replicating, but they also started eating things and then using the material they were eating to self-replicate. So when they would kill a human, in the past, they would just whip up out of the dirt and cut a human in half or something. But then they evolved to where they were actually pulling the humans underground down to wherever they were and eating that flesh. And it was like, oh my God, this is getting like, all right, we've got a Jose back.
Hey, Jose.
But
no way, Jose.
No way, Jose.
Another really cool thing about Dark Matter was how one of the main cast members split off and became the primary villain like 3 seasons into it. That was very cool. You never see stuff like that.
Yeah, I had a choice. I was either watching Dark Matter or I was watching Killjoys. I watched Killjoys. It was a really good show.
I have not.
I don't think I've heard of that.
So Killjoys came out right around the same time as Dark Matter and Expanse and all those shows, right? Shot in Toronto, sci-fi. Killjoys is about bounty hunters, sci-fi bounty hunters.
Oh, cool.
And it's a really good show. Like, it's fun. It's fast-paced, interesting characters. Definitely worth checking out. Killjoys.
I'll check. I'll look for that.
I did watch The Expanse.
What did you guys think about? I actually disliked the alien stuff. I liked it. The stuff going on between like Mars and Earth and the belt. That was all cool.
Yeah, what alien stuff? There's just a constant tease that there was going to be aliens. There was no fucking aliens.
Yeah.
And then when they find all the multiple worlds, the aliens are all dead and gone. I'm like, what the fuck did I sit? And the books do the same bullshit. And you read through, you get to that point, you're like, finally, we get fucking aliens. I mean, they're all fucking dead. Fuck yourselves.
Yeah, but they left behind.
This was a fucking Traveler campaign, right? Yeah, this was like a Mongoose Traveler campaign that it's based on. These guys, their campaign they ran, Traveler 2300 or whatever.
Yeah.
So could you imagine being the players in that game and find like, finally, we're gonna get the fucking aliens. Oh, the aliens are all dead. Fuck you, Steve. Fuck you right now. You know?
Right. I did like it because of how they actually had advisors that were physics professors and shit on scene.
Yeah.
So that when they're like, what would happen if this happened in space? They had, physicists who'd be like, actually, this would happen. Like all my life, I thought if you're in a spaceship and a meteorite punctured the hull, you just get sucked out into space. It turns out, no.
That's what a lot of movies.
You can literally walk up and put your hand over it, and granted, where your hand's exposed to space is going to get effed up, but that'll stop the atmosphere from escaping.
On the International Space Station, when that kooky female astronaut who was like going bonkers.
Yeah.
She punched a couple holes in the hull with a screwdriver, and the guy put a fucking Dixie cup over it until they could go outside and weld it.
Yep. Well, and in Expanse, they just had these whole repair kits that was like a thin metal plate and like a caulking gun full of glue, and you just around the thing and put the metal plate into the glue. And guess what? Hey, Janet, how you doing, Janet?
Janet's here.
Sorry if it took a long time to get you, like, to answer you. Actually, that's all I can say. That's
hey, you know who might have enjoyed that last night? No, I'm joking.
I have no excuse except that I am not really good at checking my socials. So but
no women in space. Oh, then how did you get here, Janet?
There were tons of women in Expanse. As a matter of fact, the one guy who I actually thought was a cool character, he was 100% dependent on a woman because whatever had happened to him had made him a sociopath. If he wasn't always hanging out with the woman was his morality gauge. That was the only way he could tell whether he's being evil or not.
Yeah, I kind of hated him at the start, and then as it went on, I was like, "Oh goddamn, he's like the best character."
He became my favorite character later on.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and he abandoned her eventually.
His character early on was the guy who got shot, sitting in the chair, in like when they were being attacked, and then the bullet went right through the fucking ship and went through him. The medic guy, he was my favorite character. Then they killed him. I'm like, "Oh, full," you know.
Yeah. And then the physicists, they had talked about like how if you got shot in 0G, because your blood couldn't come out of you, you would suffer compartmental injuries. So since the blood wouldn't be pushed out by gravity or anything, it would fill the inside of you and cause your lungs to collapse.
Yeah.
So injury in 0G is like way worse than, on a planet.
Yeah, your body ain't designed for that.
Your body just ain't designed for that shit. And that's the kind of geeky sci-fi shit I love. But I agree with everyone who said once they went through the gate, they found the gate and went to their planet and got attacked by flying razor blades and all the other stupid shit. I was just like over it. I was 100% over it.
Yeah, the machinations between
the
planets and the Belters was the good parts of the show.
Oh, get out of here with that freaking clan bullshit.
Stop, Jose, stop. We're not talking
you're antagonizing me.
We're having a conversation where all of us
wants an invite to your next BattleTech game here, Jose.
Fucking BattleTech people. You're like cultists.
How to offend everyone with only one picture,
You're
right?
like cultists though, whose cult is based off of a different religion, and you're just massacring it. So because this is all Dune, you're just doing stuff.
Like a cult based off another cult that you read about secondhand,
exactly.
in like an Inquirer magazine or something.
Yeah. You found one page of an Omni magazine article about the cult at a bus stop. It had been torn out, and you were like, "Oh,
a sign from the heavens."
Yeah, exactly.
There's a channel online where this guy does like the top 15 weirdest cults in 10 minutes or some shit. And it's pretty funny because like he's got like 50 videos, but like each video will have like 10. And some of them are truly crazy. Like we're not even talking normal crazy, like Hollow Earth crazy. We're talking like really, really, really crazy. Yeah. Like everything in the universe was made out of ice.
There's one thing cults have taught me over the years is this: women will fuck anything.
Obey your master.
Like women will fuck anything because every cult has some dude at the top teaching some bullshit woo-woo and a fucking harem of chicks that follow him around doing whatever the fuck he wants all the time. And I'm like,
not Heaven's Gate.
How? Heaven's Gate was a whole other story.
That was him and his wife.
I mean, can you the fact that they made any sales to guys in that cult? It's like, oh, and you do what? Oh, thanks. I'll take this pamphlet and I'll
Yeah, thank you. I'm
Here's
not
the thing.
Yeah.
You get a free pair of Skechers.
Now I want to know if they still exist though. Does the Heaven's Gate cult still exist?
No, I
Does
think that-
Jim
I think they
Jones
all off
cult
themselves.
exist? You know, I mean,
Does Jim Jones does the Jim Jones cult exist? That would be interesting if they were still around. Going, no, we just got to perfect Buddha.
A lot of people said he lived. There are a lot of people who claimed he survived and had been.
Well, there are a lot of people who didn't drink any Kool-Aid and got shot. You know? No, Janet, I didn't say all women. I said women. But it's always good that when a woman's around when you make a statement like that to immediately point out that not all women are like that. But yet men suck and men are this. It's like, yeah, it's so hard being a woman.
Well, that used to be a thing on Twitter. Some person would post something that was inflammatory, and they would always end it with, and I don't want to hear any of you guys saying not all men. And it's like, so basically there's no debate here. You're basically just saying all men suck balls and we're the worst thing ever and we're not even allowed to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Top tier status and power within a social group, which some women find very attractive. Yes.
Okay. Some.
Yeah.
Some.
Well, it's kind of like that one preacher, if you can say. It was a lady that was a preacher of some Protestant Christian something she said religion, and she believed that she could help remove evil spirits from her congregants by giving them blowjobs.
Was she hot?
She was pretty hot. I mean, she was a relatively young Spanish chick.
I'm just saying.
I bet there was a rash of demonic possession going on.
Every week, Vic's there at the confessional. I had bad thoughts.
Yeah. And the thing is, this lady, the Spanish lady, is not the first lady that's ever done this. This is a thing that's happened multiple times throughout, like, recent modern history. Some woman decides that she's going to be the pastor of some church, and then it always ends with her giving all the guys in the church blowies. It's just like, all right. I mean, personally, I find this to be satanic, but interesting. I mean, it could be worse. It could be a guy.
Wait. Blowjobs are satanic?
Pretending to be a pastor to give blowjobs to random men. Yeah, that's
that is.
It says here that Jim Jones People's Temple is still used.
Well, I mean, it was a communist organization. Jim Jones was a CIA operative during the Vietnam War, so you know, go where you want with that shit. You know.
What's his name? The Doors. Jim
Morrison.
Jim Morrison. He was totally in bed with all the naval intelligence and all that shit. His father was an admiral in naval intelligence.
Yep, he was born here in Florida. 45 minutes from where my fat ass is sitting right now. He was born in Melbourne, Florida, not Australia, obviously. But then they moved to wherever they moved. Yeah, Shadow. Ma'am, I'm feeling a little possessed.
Damn, I stole this candy bar. I think the devil took me. Help.
Help. I mean, yeah. All right. Oh, I was joking with my wife that I'm going to adopt a new system. And I got this from a meme that Hungar sent me. It was like every time the wife performs a sex act on you, you put X amount of money into a envelope, and when Christmas comes around, that's the budget for her present. Oh. In the meme, the guy said, "So far, my wife's going to get a cup of coffee." I told my wife that, and she's like, "That's not fair." Is Jose in a trance? Yes.
Oh, he's thinking about BattleTech.
That's what I was going to say.
He's dreaming
We're
of
all talking about
BattleTech.
what we're talking about, and he's thinking about, is the Daeshi better than the Masakari? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is it the dire wolf or is it the gladiator?
Hey, Jose, where's your pencils, man? We're still waiting for more work. What's going on?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, well, I was waiting for the feedback. No
We
feedback?
gave you feedback, and then you gave us pretty much the same stuff back.
Okay,
gotta take that
okay.
new thing and come
I
back.
will keep it moving.
Has to
Okay,
go back and forth, brother. Has to go back and forth.
perfect. I will
Who's
keep
drumming?
on. Excuse me?
You don't hear that?
That's
it's
that's
Vic.
Vic.
That's Vic. He's playing with his
What are you
microphone.
talking about? I'm just
I can
tightening
hear
up.
you fucking with your microphone, Vic.
I'm tightening up the bass on it. That's all.
You know, guys, if we'd been smarter, we would have been like, "What? I don't hear anything." Just let Bear be like,
Bear, I will start inking. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Look,
reach out,
Bear, I need to
Yeah,
practice
continue.
sometimes. How am I supposed to get better?
just reach out to Shane,
Well,
Jose.
you're beyond help.
Send him an email.
Uh,
"What is left practicing?"
drums.
Oh,
I will
Skin
perform time I see something.
drums. The present you buy your nephew when you hate your brother.
Oh,
Or your sister.
I gave my niece a electronic organ with a little microphone on it when she was like 1. Oh,
I bought my nieces and nephews Aztec death whistles.
oh,
Yeah,
These are terrifying, man.
yeah.
yeah.
My brother said after a month he'd had it with that thing and he took the batteries out.
That might be why Hungar moved to Tennessee, actually,
There you go.
because he was just like, "Yeah, enough of that." One year, I bought both of my nieces the Frozen, like a recorder with a little book that had all the songs from Frozen in.
Oh yeah, there you go. Good times.
Good
That's sort of like-
times. One year, I bought all of Hungar's kids' harmonicas. Like Hungar has just been. I am starving at the moment. Janet.
It doesn't say what he's starving for.
Yeah, go grab something.
Innuendo.
Yeah.
I mean, you were at the gym working out really hard the other day, so I mean, you can afford to eat, you know. It won't kill you.
You get yourself a boyfriend that can cook, Janet.
If you're really angry at one of your siblings, talk one of their kids into taking up the bagpipes.
Oh yeah.
Shadow, commas save lives.
I have full plans when my sons have their grandchildren and they come to the house. It's gonna be like, oh no, they're going home with this.
So my sister, once upon a time, thought it would be a really, really, really good idea to drop off my nephew and 2 nieces on a Friday night when I had plans at the last minute because she and her husband were going out and fuck you don't have a life, so you're gonna take care of my kids attitude. And I'm like, and she's like, well, too bad, you're taking care of the kids. And I'm like, but I had plans. All right, we will remember this, Kim. So what does Uncle Bear do? Oh, Uncle Bear fills them full of candy all night long. And horror films. Candy and horror films. Just tons of candy. And like, let's watch Friday the 13th. Let's watch Halloween. Let's watch The Thing. And I sent them home wired and freaked. Never got asked to babysit again. It's amazing how that worked out.
I used to do that every other week when I didn't have custody of my daughters. On the way to take them home to their moms, we'd swing into the same store every week, and I would buy them like a 64 ounce, or not 64, the 32 ounce soda of their choice. and like a king size Snicker bar, and they'd eat it on the drive to the house and drink it because it was like an hour drive.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, "Well, see you guys in a couple of weeks." I wasn't sure if I should read that as a literal statement or something with hidden.
My ex thought that doing something like that to me was gonna work out for her. I just said, okay. She filled the kids up with Mountain Dew and sent them over. That's fine. I brought them outside. They ran around for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and after that, they went plunk.
Oh, Janet, I can't help but think that you probably have no end of suitors lined up around the corner.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So
clearly, nothing is sadder in this world, Janet, than a hot chick whining that she can't find someone. It's like
that's what I'm saying, you know.
Welcome, please. As a buddy of mine once said, he said, if a man and a woman both go out to a club and they want to get laid, for the man, it's the question of how much money he's willing to spend. For the woman, it's a question of how far she's willing to lower her standards, and that's it. That's the rule.
Well, for the woman, it's 100% guaranteed.
Oh yeah, but her standards will be the barometer on that.
It's just the hour of the day. You know, the drunker the guy is, the better they look.
For the guy, it's all going to be about how much money he's willing to depart with that evening.
True, because if you're desperate enough, you always can just hire a hooker.
Thereby proving my point.
Right. So the money will get it. But for a woman, she can walk in and pretty much most of the time have the pick of the litter, you know, as long as she's reasonably good looking and go on about her way.
I was a bouncer for a lot of years. Reasonably good looking is a very, 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 very objective term.
James, it's the hour of the day at the bar. I mean, the closer it is to closing time.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear
well,
God.
If anybody knows anything about that, it would be our Canuckistan brother.
The things I would see at 2 to 3 in the morning were just like, yeah. And the worst was guys that like, you're like, dude, you could do better. Like, you know, this guy could do better. But he's just he's batting zero all night long for some reason. Now he's taking, Brunhilde home, It's like, okay, man.
Well, he was obviously not looking for Mrs. Right. He was looking for Mrs. Right now.
Indeedly-do.
So,
Patrice O'Neill still has some of the best material about that whole topic.
Patrice O'Neill has some of the best material. You could have ended the sentence there.
That is fair. The brunette is always picked up after the blondes. Oh, please. What's a blonde's mating call?
I'm drunk.
I'm so drunk. What's a brunette's mating call? The blonde's gone yet? And wait, what's a redhead's mating call? Next.
Oh my goodness. Having married 2 redheads.
Am I wrong?
No, I said.
As a redhead, you can still see it in my eyebrows. Am I wrong? Yeah.
I was married to 2 redheads, so I can say you were absolutely right.
What was his name?
I've been a lot of 3-ways that I wasn't aware of at the time.
Samuel Clemens. What the hell is his
the look on Doc's face. Think about Doc. You'll figure it out.
Mark Twain, you talking about?
Mark Twain. Mark Twain had the best line. He goes, that man is descended from apes, I do believe, except for redheads. They are descended from cats.
Janet's sisters are blonde. Yeah. Well, you can be a blonde too, far as we know. Women in hair dye is like.
Yeah, it's like it's really easy to fix that problem, Janet.
Yeah.
I have only dated one blonde
woman by her own hand. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, I've been with her for over 20 years now, but.
Yeah, but your wife's a natural blonde, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Danish.
Danish. But she is not my type. But apparently she is, because we've been together for over 20 years. But
she ain't letting you go, James. You're
yeah, shit. The other day I had her so mad she's telling me that she's going to make me live at the end of the driveway in a freezer box. I was like, ooh. She's one of those doesn't get mad until she gets mad.
Yeah.
And then it's like psychotic mad, and you're like hiding knives and shit because, you know, full-blown rage, Viking anger and all that. But I always, growing up, dated tall women with dark or red hair. Every girl I ever dated had black, dark brown, or red hair, and they were all at least 5'8". I ended up married to a 5'3" blonde. And that's the longest. I can add every relationship I've ever had in my entire life together, and it's less than I've been married to my wife.
See, you finally found the one.
Man, when it's right, man.
Yeah. Well, because she puts up with my bullshit. But anyway.
Clearly not freezer box.
Yeah. Yeah, I got her mad one time, and she's like, you know, she said something about maybe I should like move into somewhere else if I can't do something or other. And I was like, well, I'm willing to go for a divorce if that's what you really want, but I demand conjugal visits. And also you still have to feed me. And she's like, well, then what's the point? And I was like, all right, you brought it up. I'm negotiating.
There's a case here in Minnesota that a woman demanded in the divorce that the husband give her conjugal visits twice a month.
See? I mean,
hey. Well, that just seems right there, don't it? I mean, you betcha.
If it was going to happen anywhere, I mean, you know, I would have thought Florida, but hey, Minnesota, you just fly your freak flag if that's what you want to do.
It's like, whatever. I mean, the things they put in some divorces are just astounding. You know, I want my grandmother's salt shaker. You know.
Do you know what that tells me, though, what you just said?
What?
That tells me that regardless of whether that woman's husband's an asshole or not, he's really good in bed.
Hey, you got to live with some. You can't live with others. You know what I mean? So.
As my father explained to me when I was a very young man, he said, and I was shocked because it was such a weird conversation for this man to have with me. He goes, just remember. And he didn't say it in these words. He said it in his own goofy, stupid way, but this is what it was essentially. Essentially, the message was, they're the ones you marry and the ones you fuck. Don't marry the ones you fuck. Like that was the essential message he gave me, you know. It was more like, you know, there's the type of woman who's really fun to have around on a weekend, and like, it was a whole thing. But ultimately, the message was that, and I took it to heart. And then I learned the hard way about the dick and crazy thing. Problem is, crazy looks good.
Oh yeah, that's every man's
crazy. Always look good. Like I don't know why. I don't know what that's about, but fuck.
Yep. That's a fact.
Well, I've been trying to teach my boys. I tell them the qualities to look out for, and I started going down the list for them. And I just said, these are the ones you want to date. If they've got all these qualities, they might be a catch. And I said, you know, but then you got the crazy factor in there.
Yeah. If she bakes you bread, that's a high quality. But if she bakes you bread and then proceeds to tell you all about her theories on spirituality and crystals, you know?
Like step one, ask her how she feels about her mom and dad. If she likes her mom and dad and thinks her dad's awesome and blah, 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 then you're probably safe. If she hates her dad or he left when she was young or some shit like that, you know, depends.
As a man whose dating life was based on daddy issues for the entire 90s,
Exactly.
He's not wrong.
Exactly. It's like,
I should have got rid of my ex-wife when she burned a pizza in the oven. She put left the cardboard underneath the pizza and put it in the
Well, that's obviously a hanging offense.
yeah.
The kind of man
I've done
that
that.
Oh,
by
no.
accident. Drunk,
From there,
but,
it just got worse, Bear. Her cooking
Oh, yeah.
abilities were just crap.
for Janet, the kind of men that you should avoid at all costs are what I call feminine men. It is men who listen a lot what women said. I mean, he is going to listen to his mom. He's going to listen to his sister. He's going to listen everything that every woman says to him, basically. So basically, he has no power to decide for himself. That's something that needs to be avoided.
Conversely, inverse to that, Janet, super duper macho guys, you need to avoid them too because they're just going to treat you like shit.
Too. Yeah, that's right.
What you need, Janet, is just to find a rational human being you can get along with.
which
Here's the
a lot
funny
of
thing.
women seem to enjoy.
What? Being treated like shit?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I have 4 older sisters. Trust me, I know.
It's
I've
like,
been backstage at the women's show my whole life. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't buy any of their
It's like
bullshit.
you see it happening and you're just like, how is this happening?
No, it's when you see it happening and you go, okay, well, I'm just going to go fucking end that guy. And your sister's going, no, don't. What the fuck you mean? No, don't. You know, I'm your brother. It's my fucking job to go kick the shit out of this guy for fucking, smacking you around. Like that's the rules. No, it'll just cause problems. Just let it alone. I'll handle it. Hey, fuck.
I tell you what,
Guy
I
I
wish my
used to
sister
live
would-
with, another.
my
Go ahead,
sister got
Jose.
me out of that too, Bear, one time, and I was like, I knew he was a douche. I knew he was a douche. I should have just said, I'm not listening to you, and beat the crap out of him before he beat the crap out of her.
Yeah, the good way to know how if there is codependency is if I love you means make me happy, run.
Well, okay. So I when I used to teach, one of my students asked me, how do you define love, Bear? What is love? Because they thought they were going to be clever and catch me on something because I'm a bitter fucking guy, right? And I looked at her and I said to the whole class, I said, love, when you love someone, their happiness is more important than your happiness. And if they love you, your happiness is more important than their happiness. So you're basically in a relationship where each of you are trying to make the other person happy. That's love.
Yeah, that's love. Yeah.
But when it's one-sided, one person trying to make the other person happy and that other person just take, that's not love. That's abuse. And you need to know the difference between the two. Men tend to see that a lot faster than women do. Women tend to get stuck in that cycle for a longer time, which is a sad thing.
Well, my buddy Ishmael, who I lived with for a little while, he's a big half-blind Puerto Rican. And one of the words of wisdom he told us one day is that bitches just need to be told what they want. And then he stopped hanging out so much and got married. And now he's got 3 kids. He's been married for like 35 years. Goes to church. So I'm looking at his life and I'm thinking, maybe Ish was right. Maybe bitches just need to be told what they want. Anyway, it's been about 2 hours and I can hear my wife. So
you don't want you sleeping in a freezer box.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, right? But
not until the weather warms up a bit.
Oh, it's too hot down here for me now. Hate it. But I will see you guys later. I'm sure Bear's got something going on later.
No, we were supposed to have a Star Trek game, but nerds are out of town on work, so we postponed until she gets back. So maybe I'll do something later, like see who wants to jump on a panel and talk shit. But these days, people don't really want to jump on panels and talk shit, I'm noticing.
I don't know. If you're doing a live thing looking for someone on a panel and I'm awake and on, maybe I'll jump on your panel.
Well, if I do one, I'll send you a message on Discord you'll never respond to.
Probably. But anyway, peace out, guys. I will
All right, have a good one.
Later, all.
Have a
Everybody
great
take
one.
care.
Pasta.